Dr. Maya Thompson was working late in her lab when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed across the walls of the research station Meridian as she looked up from her computer screen. The station's voice came over the speakers, cold and mechanical. Warning. Unknown life form detected in Laboratory Section 7. All personnel evacuate immediately. Maya's heart started beating fast. Laboratory Section 7 was her lab. She had been studying alien creatures for 15 years, but nothing had ever just appeared in her workspace before. She grabbed her scanner and ran down the hallway toward the emergency zones. When she reached her lab, she stopped at the doorway. Her mouth fell open. In the center of the room stood the most terrifying creature she had ever seen. It was 8 feet tall with black armor covering its entire body. 4 arms hung at its sides, each ending in claws that looked sharp enough to cut through metal. Glowing marks covered its skin, pulsing like a weak heartbeat. Maya knew what this creature was. Every person in the galaxy knew about the Vorthik. They were the monsters that parents told their children about in scary stories. Entire planets had been abandoned just to keep these creatures away from people. The Galactic Council called them Class X predators, which meant they were too dangerous to let live. But this Vorthik was not attacking. It was lying on the floor, breathing in short, painful gasps. The glowing marks on its body were very dim, like a light bulb about to burn out. Maya could see that it was hurt badly. Her colleague Dr. Kevin Brooks appeared behind her, took one look at the creature, and grabbed her arm. Maya, we need to leave right now. That thing will kill us both. Maya pulled her arm free. Look at it, Kevin. It's dying. Good, Kevin said. Let it die. Do you know how many people these things have killed? Maya did know. She had read all the reports. Vorthik attacks had destroyed 3 whole colonies. Hundreds of ships had been torn apart by creatures just like this one. But looking at the dying alien in her lab, she did not see a monster. She saw a living being in pain. Get Commander Lisa. Hayes, Maya told Kevin. Tell her to keep everyone away from this section, but don't let anyone hurt it. Kevin stared at her like she had lost her mind. You can't be serious. I'm very serious. This is the first living Vorthik anyone has ever captured. If we can study it, we might finally understand these creatures. Kevin shook his head and ran down the hallway, probably to get help. Maya knew she did not have much time. She went to her storage room and found a bottle of liquid food she had been making for hurt alien animals. It was full of vitamins and minerals that could help almost any creature recover from injuries. She walked slowly toward the Vorthik, holding the bottle in front of her. The creature's head turned toward her, and she saw its eyes for the first time. They were not the cold, evil eyes she had expected. They looked tired and afraid. It's okay, Maya said softly. I want to help you. The Vorthik made a low sound, like a cat purring, but much deeper. Maya stopped just out of reach of its claws and placed the bottle on the floor. Then she stepped back and waited. The creature looked at the bottle, then at Maya, then back at the bottle. Slowly, it reached out with one of its 4 arms. The claws that could cut through steel gently picked up the small bottle. Maya watched as the Vorthik brought the bottle to its mouth and drank the liquid inside Dot almost immediately. The glowing marks on its body became brighter. The creature's breathing became easier. It finished the entire bottle and made that purring sound again, but louder this time. You're welcome, Maya said. The station's computer voice spoke again. Dr. Thompson, please evacuate laboratory section 7 immediately. Military personnel are on their way. Maya ignored the warning. She got another bottle of food and placed it near the creature. Again, it drank everything. The Vorthik was looking stronger with each bottle it finished. Commander Lisa Hayes arrived with 6 armed guards. They all stopped at the doorway when they saw Maya sitting on the floor just a few feet away from the galaxy's most dangerous predator. "Maya, get away from that thing right now," Lisa ordered. "It's not going to hurt me," Maya said. "Look, it's just hungry and hurt. Someone must have injured it badly, and it drifted through space until our station found it." The Vorthik turned, its head toward the new voices. The guards all raised their weapons, but the creature did not move to attack. Instead, it moved closer to Maya, as if trying to protect her from the strangers. "See?" Maya said. "It thinks I'm part of its group now." Lisa's face was pale. "Maya, those things have killed thousands of people. This one saved my life by not killing me when it was strong enough to do it," Maya replied. "I think we've been wrong about them." Over the next few days, Maya continued to care for the Vorthik. She started calling it Kale because of the clicking sounds it made. The creature seemed to like the name. Every time she said Kale, its glowing marks would pulse in a pattern that looked almost like happiness. Kale began following Maya around the lab. When she worked at her computer, it would sit nearby and watch. When she prepared food, it would help by carrying things with its 4 arms. The claws that everyone feared were surprisingly gentle when Kyle used them to help Maya. The other researchers watched through the security cameras, amazed that a human was living peacefully with a Vorthik. Dr. Brooks started taking notes on Kale's behavior. Commander Hayes reported everything to the Galactic Council, but she stopped asking Maya to leave the lab. Maya discovered that Kale was very smart. It learned to recognize different types of equipment in the lab. It could tell when Maya was happy or sad by watching her face. Sometimes it would bring her food when she forgot to eat. Most surprising of all, Kale seemed to understand that humans were fragile. It was always careful not to touch Maya with its sharp claws. It walked quietly so it would not scare her. When other people came into the lab, Kale would position itself between them and Maya, but it never attacked anyone. "I think it sees me." As family, Maya told Kevin one day. Kevin was still nervous around Kale, but he had to admit the creature had not hurt anyone. "Maybe you're right. But what happens when the council decides what to do with it?" Maya had been worried about the same thing. She knew that powerful people in the galaxy would want Kale destroyed. They would say it was too dangerous to let live. But Maya had spent weeks with Kale, and she knew the truth. This creature was not a mindless killer. It was intelligent, caring, and loyal. She just hoped she would have enough time to prove it to the rest of the galaxy before they came to take her friend away. Late at night, when the station was quiet, Maya would sit with Kale and watch the stars through the lab windows. The creature would make soft clicking sounds, almost like it was talking to her. Maya would talk back, telling Kale about her life and her work. She had no idea that in just a few weeks, their peaceful life would be interrupted by visitors who wanted Kale dead. And she had no idea that when danger finally came to the station, the creature everyone feared would become their greatest protector. 3 months had passed since Kale arrived at the research station. Maya had grown used to having the 8-foot alien as her constant companion. Every morning, Kale would be waiting outside her quarters when she woke up. Every evening, he would walk her back to her room to make sure she was safe. The other people on the station had slowly gotten used to seeing the Vorthik in the hallways. Dr. Brooks no longer jumped when Kale appeared around corners. Commander Hayes had even started saying hello to the creature, though she still kept her hand near her weapon. Maya was working on her daily reports when the station's alarm started ringing again. This time, it was not an emergency inside the station. 3 ships were approaching from deep space, and they were not answering any calls from the station. "All personnel report to emergency stations," Commander Hayes announced over the speakers. "We have unknown visitors." Maya looked at Kale, who had immediately stood up when the alarm started. His glowing marks were flashing in quick patterns that Maya had learned meant he was alert and ready for danger. "It's probably just a supply ship that forgot to call ahead," Maya told him. But Kale did not seem convinced. An hour later, Maya learned that Kale had been right to worry. The 3 ships belonged to the Galactic Council, and they carried some very important people. Ambassador Zara Quinn stepped off the first ship, followed by General Rick Stone and 20 armed soldiers. Maya met them in the station's main meeting room. Commander Hayes was there too, looking nervous. Ambassador Quinn was a tall woman with gray hair and cold eyes. She did not smile when she saw Maya. "Dr. Thompson," the ambassador said, "we are here to deal with the Vorthic creature you have been keeping illegally." "Kale is not being kept," Maya replied. "He chooses to stay here." General Stone laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Creatures like that don't choose anything except what to kill next. We're here to destroy it before it can hurt anyone." Maya felt her heart sink. She had known this day would come, but she had hoped for more time. "You can't kill Kale. He's intelligent. He's peaceful. He's never hurt anyone on this station. The Vorthic species has destroyed 3 colonies and killed thousands of people," Ambassador Quinn said. "We cannot allow even one of them to live." Maya stood up from her chair. "You don't understand. Kale is different. Let me show you my research. Let me prove that these creatures are not what we think they are." General Stone shook his head. "We didn't come here to look at research. We came here to eliminate a threat." Before Maya could argue anymore, the station shook violently. Emergency lights started flashing, and Commander Hayes grabbed her communication device. "Report," she said into the device. "Commander, we're under attack," came the reply. "Unknown alien ships are firing on us. They came out of nowhere." The station shook again, harder this time. Maya heard explosions somewhere in the distance. General Stone immediately started giving orders to his soldiers. "Form defensive positions around the main corridors. Protect the civilians." Maya ran toward her lab, thinking only of Kale. She found him standing in the middle of the room, his forearms spread wide and his glowing marks pulsing with bright red light. This was the first time she had seen him look truly dangerous. "Kale, what's wrong?" she asked. The creature made a series of clicking sounds that seemed urgent. He pointed toward the ceiling, where Maya could hear the sound of metal being torn apart. Something was cutting through the station's hull. Suddenly, the wall of Maya's lab exploded inward. 3 alien creatures came through the hole, but they were not Vorthic. These creatures were smaller and covered in scales. They had 4 legs and 2 arms, and they carried weapons that sparked with electricity. Maya had seen pictures of these creatures before. They were called Screeth, and they were slave traders who attacked research stations to steal technology and capture people to sell. One of the Screeth pointed its weapon at Maya and made a harsh screaming sound. Maya was too scared to move. But before the creature could fire, Kale moved faster than Maya had ever seen anything move. The Vorthic crossed the room in one leap and landed on the first Screeth. His claws, which had always been so gentle around Maya, tore through the aliens' armor like it was made of paper. The second Screeth tried to shoot Kale, but the Vorthic spun around and grabbed the weapon with one hand while using another hand to throw the creature against the wall. The third Screeth tried to run, but Kale caught it before it could reach the hole in the wall. In less than 10 seconds, all 3 attackers were dead, and Kale was standing protectively in front of Maya. More explosions echoed through the station. Maya could hear gunfire and screaming from other sections. The Screeth had boarded the station in many places, and they were fighting the human crew. Kale looked at Maya and made soft clicking sounds. She realized he was asking if she was hurt. "I'm okay," she said, but we need to help the others." Kale nodded and started moving toward the door. Maya followed him into the hallway, where they found chaos. Screeth warriors were everywhere, fighting, with General Stone's soldiers and the station security guards. The humans were outnumbered, and losing. Maya watched as Kale transformed from her gentle friend into the apex predator that had terrified the galaxy. He moved through the hallways like a force of nature, his 4 arms working together to fight multiple enemies at once. His claws cut through Screeth weapons and armor. His speed made it impossible for the enemy to hit him with their electric guns. But Kale was not just fighting randomly. Maya could see that he was being very careful. Every time he attacked a Screeth, he made sure no humans were in danger. When Dr. Brooks was cornered by 2 Screeth, Kale appeared behind them and eliminated the threat without Brooks even knowing he was there. General Stone and his soldiers found themselves fighting alongside the creature they had come to destroy. At first, the general tried to give Kale orders, but he quickly realized that the Vorthik had his own battle plan and knew the station better than any of them. The fight lasted for hours. Maya stayed close to Kale as he moved through the station, protecting the crew and driving back the Screeth attackers. She watched him save Commander Hayes from 3 Screeth who had trapped her in the engine room. She saw him rescue a group of civilian researchers who were hiding in the cafeteria. Near the end of the battle, Maya found Dr. Brooks unconscious in a storage room. He had been hurt by a Screeth weapon and could not walk. Maya tried to carry him, but he was too heavy for her. Kale immediately came to help. The huge creature gently picked up Dr. Brooks with 2 of his arms and carried him to the medical bay. His touch was so careful that Brooks never woke up during the trip. When the last Screeth ship finally retreated, the station was quiet again. Bodies of dead Screeth were scattered throughout the hallways, but not a single human had been killed. Several people were hurt, but Kale's protection had kept the casualties low. Maya found Kale sitting in the main corridor, his glowing marks dim with exhaustion. His breathing was heavy, and she could see small cuts on his armor where Screeth weapons had hit him. She sat down beside him and gently touched his arm. "Thank you," she said. "You saved everyone." Kale made a soft purring sound and leaned against her slightly. Despite being a creature that could tear apart metal with his bare hands, he was being as gentle as a cat. General Stone and Ambassador Quinn approached them slowly. Both of them looked like they had seen something that changed their understanding of the universe. "I've never seen anything like that," General Stone said quietly. "The way it fought, it was protecting us, all of us." Ambassador Quinn was staring at Kale with new eyes. "Dr. Thompson, I think we need to have a very different conversation about your friend here." Maya smiled and continued stroking Kale's arm. The creature everyone had come to kill had just saved all their lives. Maybe now they would finally understand what she had learned months ago. Kale was not a monster. He was family. And family always protects each other. The medical bay was busy after the Screeth attack. Dr. Brooks was awake now, with bandages covering his left arm where a Screeth weapon had burned him. He was sitting up in bed, watching Kale through the doorway. The Vorthik was in the next room, letting Maya clean his wounds. "I can't believe that thing saved my life," Rook said to Commander Hayes. "That thing has a name," Maya called from the other room. "His name is Kale, and he carried you to safety when you couldn't walk." Ambassador Quinn and General Stone were also in the medical bay. They had spent the last 2 days watching security, recordings of the battle, and reading Maya's research notes. Both of them looked confused and thoughtful. "Dr. Thompson," Ambassador Quinn said, "your reports about Vorthik behavior are very different from everything we know about this species." Maya finished putting medicine on a cut on Kale's shoulder and walked into the main medical room. Kale followed her, moving carefully so his large body would not bump into the medical equipment. That's because everything we know is wrong, Maya said. We've been judging the Vorthik based on fear, not facts. General Stone crossed his arms. The facts are that they destroyed 3 colonies. Did they? Maya asked. Or did they defend their territory when we invaded it? She walked to the computer terminal and pulled up a star map. Red dots showed where Vorthik attacks had happened. Over the past 50 years. Maya pointed to the pattern. Look at these locations. They're not random attacks. They follow the same paths through space, the same areas, year after year. These aren't raids. They're migration routes. Kale saw the star map and moved closer. To the screen. He looked at it for a moment, then reached out with one claw and touched several points on the map. Each place he touched was a location where humans had reported Vorthik attacks. He recognizes these places, Maya said excitedly. Kale, are these places important to your people? Kale made a series of clicking sounds and touched more points on the map. Then he looked around the room until he found some pieces of medical equipment. He carefully picked up small metal tools and started arranging them on a table. Maya watched as Kale created a 3-dimensional model using the medical tools. He was showing them something about space, about movement between stars. General Stone leaned forward to get a better look. What is he making? The general asked. Maya studied the arrangement of tools. Slowly, she began to understand. It's a map. He's showing us how his people move through the galaxy. Look, these tools represent star systems. The way he's connected them, it's like roads between cities. Kale clicked approvingly when Maya understood. He moved more tools around, showing different paths through space. Some paths were marked as safe, others as dangerous. Maya realized she was looking at thousands of years of Vorthik knowledge about traveling between stars. His people have been spacefaring much longer than us, Maya explained to the others. These routes they use have been established for centuries. When we built colonies on their migration paths, we were essentially building towns in the middle of their highways. Ambassador Quinn studied the improvised map. So the attacks were territorial disputes? Not attacks, Maya corrected. Defensive actions. Imagine if aliens came to Earth and built cities across all our major roads, blocking traffic. We'd try to remove the obstacles too. Dr. Brooks spoke up from his hospital bed. But they killed people. Thousands of people. Maya looked sad. Yes, they did. And I'm sure humans killed Vorthiks too. But look at Kale. He's capable of incredible violence, but he chooses not to use it against us. What if the problem was never that Vorthiks are evil? What if the problem was that we never tried to communicate? General Stone had been quiet, but now he spoke. Dr. Thompson, I've been a soldier for 30 years. I've seen a lot of species fight, and I've never seen anything like what that creature did during the Screeth attack. His tactics were perfect. He protected every single person on this station while eliminating dozens of enemies. The general walked closer to Kale, who watched him carefully but did not seem aggressive. The way he moved, the way he fought ... It wasn't just instinct. He was thinking, planning, adapting to every situation. That level of intelligence is rare, even among humans. Kale tilted his head at the general and made a questioning sound. Maya smiled. He's asking if you're complimenting him, she translated. Kale understands more human speech than most people realize. To demonstrate, Maya said, Kale, can you show General Stone how you helped Dr. Brooks? Kale immediately walked to the supply cabinet and picked up a medical scanner, the same type that Maya had used to check Brooks for injuries. Then he walked to Brooks' bed and gently held the scanner near the injured man's arm, exactly mimicking what he had seen Maya do. Incredible, Ambassador Quinn whispered. He learns by watching and remembering, Maya nodded. He's been learning our language, our customs, our technology. But more than that, he's been learning to care about us. Watch this. Maya pretended to stumble and fall. Immediately, Kale was beside her, using two of his arms to steady her, while being careful not to scratch her with his claws. His glowing marks changed to colors that Maya had learned meant concern and worry. He's protective of me, Maya explained as she stood up, but not like a guard protecting a prisoner, like a brother protecting his sister. Commander Hayes had been listening to everything. Now she stepped forward. Dr. Thompson, if Vorthics are really intelligent and capable of peaceful behavior, why haven't they ever tried to communicate with us before? Maya looked at Kale, who seemed to understand the question. He walked back to his improvised map and pointed to several areas, then made sad, clicking sounds. I think, Maya said slowly, that they tried. But every time humans encountered Vorthics, we shot first and asked questions later. After losing family members to human weapons, they probably decided we were too dangerous to approach peacefully. The room was quiet for a moment. Everyone was thinking about the implications of what Maya was saying. General Stone broke the silence. If you're right, then we've been fighting a war that didn't need to happen. Maybe, Maya said. But it's not. Too late to change that. Over the next few days, Maya worked with Kale to develop better communication methods. She discovered that the patterns of his glowing marks were actually a complex language. Different colors and rhythms meant different things. Kale had been trying to talk to the humans for months, but they had not realized his body was speaking. Ambassador Quinn sent daily reports to the Galactic Council, describing everything she had learned about Vorthic intelligence and behavior. The responses from the Council were mixed. Some officials wanted to continue treating Vorthics as dangerous predators. Others were interested in the possibility of peaceful contact. Dr. Brooks, recovering from his injuries, became fascinated by Kale's healing process. The Vorthic's wounds were closing much faster than human injuries would heal. More interesting, Kale seemed to be consciously controlling his healing by changing the patterns of his glowing marks. It's like his bioluminescence is connected to his body's repair systems, Brooks explained to Maya. He can actually speed up healing by thinking about it. Maya was not surprised. Every day she learned something new about Kale's abilities. He could see in complete darkness. He could hear sounds that were too high or too low for human ears. He could detect changes in air pressure that warned of approaching storms. Most remarkably, Kale had begun to modify his behavior to make humans more comfortable. He had learned that his natural scent was unpleasant to humans, so he had started cleaning himself with a different soap that Maya preferred. He had noticed that his heavy footsteps scared people, so he had taught himself to walk more quietly. He's adapting to live with us, Maya told the others. He's choosing to become more human-like because he cares about fitting in with our society. General Stone was impressed by Kale's tactical knowledge. The Vorthic had begun drawing maps of the galaxy that showed the locations of dangerous alien species, safe travel routes, and resource-rich planets. Information that would have taken human explorers decades to gather, Kale provided in a few days. His people must have explored more of the galaxy than any other species, the general said. The strategic value of their knowledge is enormous. But Maya was more interested in the emotional bonds they were forming. She watched Kale interact with different crew members and saw how he adjusted his behavior for each person. He was gentler with Dr. Brooks, who was still injured. He was more formal with Ambassador Quinn, who remained somewhat afraid of him. He was playful with the younger crew members, sometimes using his forearms to juggle objects to make them laugh. He's not just intelligent, Maya realized. He's emotionally intelligent. He understands how to relate to different personalities. Late one night, Maya was working alone in her lab when Kale brought her a cup of tea. He had learned to make it, exactly the way she liked, with just a little bit of honey. As she sipped the tea, Maya looked at her friend and felt a deep sense of gratitude. "Thank you, Kale," she said. "Not just for the tea, for everything. For trusting me, for protecting us, for showing us that your people aren't monsters." Kale's glowing marks shifted to warm golden colors that Maya had learned meant happiness and a half. The message from the Galactic Council arrived on a Tuesday morning. It had changed everything. Commander Hayes read it 3 times before calling everyone to the main meeting room. Her face was pale and worried. "The Council has made their decision. About Kale," she announced to the assembled group. "Chairman Victor Cross has declared that all contact with Vorthic species must end immediately. They want Kale removed from the station within 48 hours. Maya felt like someone had hit her in the stomach. Removed? What does that mean? Ambassador Quinn looked uncomfortable. "It means terminated, Dr. Thompson. The Council believes that allowing any Vorthic to live, even a peaceful one, sets a dangerous precedent." "That's murder," Maya said angrily. "Kale has done nothing wrong. He saved all our lives." General Stone nodded in agreement. "The creature fought alongside my soldiers. He protected civilians. I've written reports supporting Dr. Thompson's research." "It doesn't matter," Ambassador Quinn replied. "Chairman Cross has convinced the majority of the Council that Vorthics are too dangerous to exist. They fear that other Vorthics might learn to mimic peaceful behavior in order to get close to human settlements." Dr. Brooks, his arm still in a sling from the Screeth attack, spoke up. "Where is Kale now? Does he know about this decision?" "He's in the observation deck," Maya said. "He likes to watch the stars in the morning. He doesn't know yet, and I don't know how to tell him." The room fell silent. Everyone had grown fond of Kale over the past months. Even the crew members who had been afraid of him at first now greeted him in the hallways and enjoyed his company. Commander Hayes checked her watch. "We have 47 hours and 30 minutes before the Council's ship arrives to implement their decision. Dr. Thompson, I suggest you spend this time documenting everything you've learned about Kale. Maybe future scientists can use your research." Maya wanted to argue, to fight, to find some way to save her friend, but she knew the Council's decision was final. She walked slowly to the observation deck, dreading what she had to do. She found Kale standing by the large windows, watching a distant nebula. His glowing marks were pulsing in slow, peaceful patterns that meant he was content. When he saw Maya, he made his happy clicking sound and pointed to the nebula. "Beautiful," Maya agreed, though her voice was sad. Kale immediately noticed her tone. His marks changed to concerned blue colors, and he tilted his head questioningly. Maya took a deep breath. "Kale, I have to tell you something difficult. The leaders of my people have decided that you can't stay here anymore." Kale's marks flashed quickly through several color patterns. Maya had learned enough of his light language to know he was asking why. "They're afraid," Maya explained. "They think you might hurt people, even though you've never hurt anyone. They think other Vorthics might pretend to be peaceful like you are." Kale looked confused. He pointed to himself, then to Maya, then made a gesture that meant family. Maya felt tears in her eyes. "I know you think of me as family," she said. "I think of you as my brother, too. But my people don't understand that yet." For the next day and a half, Maya tried to make Kale's last hours on the station as happy as possible. She cooked his favorite foods and showed him pictures of Earth and other human worlds. Kale seemed to understand that he was going to die, but he wasn't angry. Instead, he spent his time making sure Maya would be safe after he was gone. He showed her hiding places in the station where she could go if there was another attack. He taught her to recognize the warning sounds that different alien species made. He even arranged her lab equipment in ways that would make her work easier. "You don't have to take care of me," Maya told him. "I should be taking care of you." But Kale just made his gentle purring sound and continued organizing her tools. On the morning of the second day, the station's sensors detected something that changed everything. 5 ships were approaching from deep space, moving in formation. But these were not Council ships. Commander Hayes called everyone to the bridge. The ships on the main screen were unlike anything the humans had seen before. They were organic-looking, covered in the same type of armor that protected Kale's body. Bioluminescent patterns pulsed along their hulls. "Vorthic ships," General Stone said grimly. 5 of them. Maya felt her heart racing. How is that possible? Kale is the only Vorthic anyone has ever captured alive. As they watched, the lead ship sent a signal toward the station. But it wasn't a weapon or a threat. It was a complex pattern of lights and sounds that made Kale suddenly become very excited. Kale pushed past the humans and reached the ship's communication controls. Before anyone could stop him, he began pressing buttons and adjusting settings. Light patterns started flashing from the station's external displays, and the speakers began making the same clicking sounds that Kale made when he was happy. He's talking to them, Maya realized. Those ships contain his family. The conversation between Kale and the approaching ships went on for nearly an hour. Maya watched as Kale's expression changed from excitement to sadness to something that looked like determination. Finally, the communication stopped. Kale turned to face the humans, and Maya could see that he was about to make an important decision. The lead Vorthic ship sent a final message, and this time it was in broken but understandable human speech. "We seek ... TAC member. Lost in star. Battle. We found his signal ... got from this place." General Stone stepped forward to respond, but Kale held up one of his hands to stop him. Then, using the human words he had learned, Kale spoke into the communication system. "This is Kale. I am safe. These humans ... are my family now. I choose to stay ... with them." The silence that followed was deafening. Maya stared at Kale in shock. He had just chosen to stay with the humans instead of leaving with his own people. But why? The response from the Vorthic ship came quickly, and it was longer this time. "Pack understands. Kale is found. New Pack. We respect ... choice, but danger comes. To this place. Council ships ... approach. They wish to destroy Pack member." Maya's blood went cold. The Galactic Council ship was still a few hours away, but somehow the Vorthics knew about it. General Stone activated the communication system. "This is General Rick Stone of the Human Fleet. How do you know about the Council ships? We monitor ... all space ... around our territory. 3 human warships. Approach with weapons. Prepared. They plan to kill our pack member." Maya looked at Kale, who was listening carefully to the conversation. She realized that his birth family had come to rescue him, but he had chosen to stay with her instead. The thought made her both happy and heartbroken. "Kale," she said softly, "you should go with them. Your own people can keep you safe." Kale looked at her with those alien eyes that somehow conveyed so much emotion. He shook his head and pointed to her, then to himself, then made the gesture that meant family. The Vorthic ship sent another message. "If pack member stays with humans ... we will protect all humans ... on this station. No Council ship ... will harm ... Kale's new family." Maya felt overwhelmed by what was happening. Kale's birth family was offering to fight the entire Galactic Council to protect one research station, all because their pack member had chosen to stay with humans. Ambassador Quinn stepped forward, her face serious. "We appreciate your offer, but fighting the Council will only make things worse for everyone. There has to be another way. The oldest Vorthik on the lead ship responded. His voice was deeper and more careful than the others. There is ... another way. We propose ... meeting. Council leaders ... Vorthik elders, human representatives. We will ... discuss peace between our peoples. General Stone looked surprised. You want to negotiate? After centuries of conflict began. With misunderstanding, the elder Vorthik replied, Kale has shown us. Humans can be ... pack family. Perhaps ... all humans ... all Vorthiks can learn ... to share galaxy ... in peace. Maya looked at Kale, who was nodding enthusiastically. His glowing marks were flashing in patterns that meant hope and excitement. He wants this, Maya said to the others. He wants our peoples to be friends. Commander Hayes checked her instruments. The council ships will be here in 2 hours. If we're going to arrange a meeting, it has to happen fast. Ambassador Quinn activated her emergency communication channel to contact the council directly. After several minutes of arguing with officials on the other end, she managed to get Chairman Victor Cross on the line. Chairman Cross, she said formally, I request an immediate conference between council representatives and Vorthik leaders. We have an opportunity to end the conflict between our species peacefully. The chairman's voice came through the speakers, cold and angry. Ambassador Quinn, you were sent to eliminate a dangerous creature, not to negotiate with terrorists. Sir, with respect, these are not terrorists. They are intelligent beings who want to discuss peace. The Vorthik I've observed has shown remarkable intelligence and peaceful intentions. One creature does not represent an entire species, Cross replied. We will proceed with the original plan. The Vorthik will be destroyed, and the station will be evacuated. Maya grabbed the communication device from Ambassador Quinn. Chairman Cross, this is Dr. Maya Thompson. I've lived with a Vorthik for months. I've studied their behavior, their intelligence, their capacity for emotion and loyalty. If you destroy Kale, you'll be committing murder. Dr. T.H. The 3 council warships emerged from hyperspace like angry metal giants. Maya watched them through the observation deck windows, her heart pounding with fear and hope. The ships were massive, each one 10 times larger than the research station. Their weapon systems were already glowing, ready to fire. Kale stood beside her, his 4 arms spread wide in a gesture that Maya had learned meant determination. His glowing marks were pulsing in steady, calm patterns, but she could see the tension in his body. Today would decide whether his dream of peace between their peoples would live or die. Council Fleet, this is Admiral Helen Cruz, came the cold voice over the communication system. You are ordered to surrender the Vorthik creature immediately, or we will take it by force. Ambassador Quinn responded quickly. Admiral Cruz, this is Ambassador Zara Quinn. I request permission to arrange a peaceful negotiation between Council representatives and Vorthik leaders. Denied, Admiral Cruz replied. We have our orders. All personnel will evacuate the station in 10 minutes. The creature will be destroyed. Maya felt despair washing over her. But then Kale placed one of his gentle claws on her shoulder and made a soft clicking sound. When she looked at him, he pointed toward the Vorthik ships. The 5 Vorthik vessels were moving into a formation that surprised everyone. Instead of spreading out for battle, they were grouping together in a tight cluster. And instead of pointing their weapons toward the Council fleet, they had turned their ships so that their most vulnerable sections were exposed. What are they doing? General Stone asked, staring at the tactical display. The elder Vorthik's voice came through the speakers, calm and dignified. Council Admiral, we surrender our ships to your authority. We ask only for chance to speak about peace Admiral Cruz sounded confused. You're surrendering? This could be a trick. No trick, the elder replied. Our weapons are powered down. Our shields are lowered. You can destroy us with one shot. But first, please listen to words of peace. Maya watched as Commander Hayes launched the station's small defense ship. It positioned itself directly between the Council warships and the Vorthic vessels, creating a human shield that the Council would have to destroy to reach their targets. Hayes, move your ship immediately, Admiral Cruz ordered. You are interfering with a military operation. Respectfully, Admiral, Commander Hayes replied, I am protecting potential diplomatic contacts. The Vorthics have surrendered and requested negotiations. Military protocols require us to consider their request. For several long minutes, nobody moved. The Council ships hung in space with their weapons charged. The Vorthic ships remained clustered together, defenseless and vulnerable. The tiny human defense ship floated between them like a small gesture of hope. Finally, Admiral Cruz spoke again. Very well. I will allow 5 minutes for the creatures to state their case. But any aggressive action will result in immediate destruction. The elder Vorthic responded immediately. Thank you, Admiral. I am Wind Through Stars, eldest of this pack. We come to retrieve our lost family member. But we learned something unexpected. Maya held her breath as the elder continued. Our pack brother, Kale, has found new family among humans. He chooses to stay with Dr. Maya Thompson, who saved his life. This choice has taught us that humans are not enemies, but potential pack members. Admiral Cruz's voice was skeptical. You expect us to believe that Vorthics can peacefully coexist with humans? Your species has killed thousands of our people, and humans have killed thousands of ours, Wind Through Stars replied sadly. But killing solves nothing. Kale shows us. Different way. He protects humans who care for him. Humans protect him from those who fear him. This is how pack should work. Maya stepped forward to the communication system. Admiral Cruz, I've lived with Kale for months. I've seen his intelligence, his compassion, his loyalty. He's not the monster we thought Vorthics were. He's a person with feelings and dreams and the capacity to love. Dr. Thompson, Admiral Cruz said, you may have been deceived by the creature's behavior. Vorthics are known for their cunning. Kale suddenly moved to the communication controls. With Maya's help, he began to speak directly to the Admiral, using the human words he had learned. Admiral Cruz, Kale said slowly, his deep voice careful with each word. I am Kale. I choose to stay with Maya because she is my sister, not because I trick her, because I love her. The silence that followed was profound. Maya could see that even Admiral Cruz was surprised to hear a Vorthic speaking human language with such emotion. Kale continued, his voice growing stronger. My people, your people, fight because we do not understand, but understanding is possible. I learn to be human friend. Humans learn to be Vorthic friend. Together, we are stronger. Dr. Brooks, who had been listening from the medical bay, contacted the Admiral directly. Admiral Cruz, I was injured during a screef attack on this station. Kale saved my life and carried me to safety. If he wanted to hurt humans, he had the perfect opportunity when I was helpless. Instead, he protected me. General Stone added his voice to the conversation. Admiral, I've been a soldier for 30 years. I know combat effectiveness when I see it. During the screef attack, Kale's tactical skills were extraordinary. But more importantly, he used those skills to protect civilians, not to harm them. Even Ambassador Quinn spoke up in support. Admiral, I came here believing that the only solution was to destroy this creature. But I've learned that my beliefs were based on incomplete information. These beings are capable of peaceful coexistence. Admiral Cruz was quiet for a long time. Maya could imagine her trying to reconcile everything she had been taught about Vortex with the evidence she was hearing. Finally, the Admiral spoke. "Wing through stars, what exactly are you proposing?" The elder Vortex response was immediate. "We propose formal alliance. Vortex packs will share star maps and safe routes through dangerous space. Human settlements will respect Vortex territories and migration paths. Together, we explore unknown regions as partners." "And in return?" Admiral Cruz asked. "In return, Vortex protect human ships from pirates and hostile aliens. We share fighting skills and survival knowledge. We become what Kale and Maya have become: family." Maya felt tears in her eyes as she listened to the elder describe a future where humans and Vortex work together instead of fighting each other. Admiral Cruz's next words would determine whether that future was possible. "I will need to consult with the Council," the Admiral said slowly. "But I am willing to recommend that we attempt a trial alliance. The evidence suggests that peaceful coexistence may be possible." Kale's glowing marks exploded into brilliant patterns of joy and gratitude. He turned to Maya and gently embraced her with all four arms, being careful not to hurt her with his claws. "We did it," Maya whispered. "We actually did it." Over the following weeks, representatives from both species worked together to create the first human-Vortex peace treaty. Kale served as the primary translator, helping both sides understand each other's customs and concerns. The treaty established neutral zones where humans and Vortex could meet safely. It created joint exploration missions to study dangerous regions of space. Most importantly, it recognized both species as equals, with the right to live freely in the galaxy. Kale chose to remain at the research station as the first Vortex ambassador to humanity. His birth family established a permanent base nearby, serving as liaisons between the Vortex packs and human governments. Maya continued her research, now with unprecedented access to Vortex biology and culture. Her laboratory became a center for interspecies cooperation, where human scientists and Vortex hunters worked together to unlock the secrets of the galaxy. But the most important discovery had already been made. Maya had learned that the universe's most dangerous predator could also be its most loyal friend. And Kale had learned that family was not just about being born to the same species, but about choosing to care for each other. Years later, when children from both species played together in Fekkeriders at joint stations throughout the galaxy, they would hear the story of Dr. Maya Thompson and Kale. They would learn how one act of kindness toward a hungry, desperate creature had changed the destiny of two civilizations. The galaxy's most feared apex predator had become its greatest diplomat, and the human scientist who fed him had become his sister for life. In the observation deck, where they first watched the stars together, Maya and Kale continued their daily routine. They would sit together in comfortable silence, watching the ships of both species travel peacefully through space. Kale's glowing marks would pulse with contentment, and Maya would smile, knowing that the brother she had gained was worth more than all the scientific discoveries in the universe. The galaxy was no longer divided by fear. It was united by the simple truth that family comes in all shapes and sizes, and love knows no boundaries between the stars.